Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Croatia, in which this series has been, well, it's been great, and all that. But we know in the past few episodes which we've invaded India, particularly Vijayanagar, that's you've seen the yellow in the southern part of the subcontinent, which was Croatia's deadliest war that's ever been taken part of. So deadly that we've exhausted our manpower reserves and all that, in which I've previously said that it was rather morbid. Don't you think that a lot of great Croatian men died fighting for the company and not the country? But now a different kind of war has come, in which Croatia has already been taking part of, and the war just started in the month of May 1754. And that war is the Commonwealth Nuremberger Imperialist War. Basically, this is on a scale of a world war. It's on the Allied side, it's led by the Commonwealth, teaming up with the Commonwealth, Ansbach, Croatia, and its colony New Croatia, Scandinavia, two Sicilies. Yes, they're part of that too. And also going up against Nuremberg is Bohemia, Brandenburg, which is the HRE Emperor, Cologne. France is part of that too, along with their colonies. Mans, Revolutionary French Louisiana, which is currently occupied by some other ongoing war against the natives in that area. Malicet, Palatinate, Volgast, and Würzburg. And this brings up the total of this amount of infantry. Obviously, Croatia has more infantry than the Commonwealth provides in Scandinavia. So these two could play a big part. And also we have the most cavalry. But as far as artillery is concerned, Scandinavia and the Commonwealth, two sisters, got a great amount, but ours is just in improvement, which we were learning the harsh lessons from the Indian War. The vast majority of the enemy infantry we'll be fighting will be against the French. And Brandenburg also, because he's the HRE Emperor, the Holy Roman Emperor. The cavalry is also numerous, most numerous from Nuremberg. But the artillery is massive in Brandenburg and France. But we do have one advantage. At sea, we have more ships total than is the enemy. Because the French fleet had been taking losses from one of the previous conflicts that they've had. But as far as peace deals concerned, I think it was against Portugal, Spain, all those other countries that they may have fought against and lost their great navy, but not their manpower, which they'll be around for a long time. Unless we could take the war to them. So, basically, World War I, the first Great War, has started right here. And it will mostly be fought in Europe. As we know, the first enemy movements have been made. They're going to gather together with their allies. And the Commonwealth is being mobilized, and so are we. Head to Zagreb. This army led by Grigor Blagai. Which, what we know about him is what we call him the hero of Croatian India. 33 years old, got a good career ahead of him. But we need more troops. But there is good news regarding the deployment. Despite the fact most of the troops are in India and Africa, especially Croatian Kenya. And the Cossacks are still left behind in Singapore. That we can get there faster instead of taking the long way around Africa is what we originally feared. Our longtime ally, the Mamluks, have constructed the Suez Canal. Yes. That means we can cross through the Gulf of Suez and into the Palestinian coast And from there we can land our ships into the Balkans, cutting down a few months of travel. And our off and on enemy two Sicilies, we're allies now. So they'll cover for us on the Italian front while our troops will be deployed there. And we'll be sending transports to help support this. We originally had plans for expansion into Africa and eventually expand more all the way into Hawaii. So that way the Croatian Empire will be the empire that the sun shall never set. But now, troops, we must go. You need artillery. We'll pick you up later. Mirko Gojansky, the current Great Prince of Croatia, is coming aboard. And these three will be coming too. Oh, these two, I mean. Some of the generals are veterans from the Nuremberger conflict. So you will be deployed in Istria. This is the one with the transport fleet, but we have no time to upgrade each and every one of these transports. They're good enough. Drop off in Rijeka, and then we'll deploy at least 4 armies to the Italian front. And then when other troops from Mombasa here and the Cossacks and this other army that's stationed over in Kotak, they will be sent over to the Balkans and eventually be deployed to assist the Commonwealth and likely Scandinavian forces as well. The first year of this war will be a defensive one. That's how it's going to be. So is that... Oh yeah, there's 2 more fleets that need to be deployed. Light ships will be left behind in the Indian Ocean. We're going to be bringing in the big guns. You'll be deployed to Tunis first. This fleet and the... where's this other fleet? Ah, here it is. The so-called Mediterranean fleet, which we called it that because there's so many galleys that were suited for combat in the Mediterranean. You will make a short stop in Tunis after a long month's travel. Which we have grand shipyards these days, so it'll be fast to repair. And then you'll be sent over to blockade against the French. So they can't go anywhere. And as far as we know, there's going to be some naval engagement out at sea at the Bay of Fundy. And as for our colony of New Croatia, I've ordered them to operate themselves independently. We can't ask them for assistance because it's a conflict so far away from here. And all that. So they'll have to deal with French Canada and French Alaska and possibly revolutionary French Louisiana. And why is that a revolutionary despite being a crown colony? But the liberty desired is there. It uses a presidential system, or council as they call it. And as for, you know, this army that's currently going to get some artillery, that'll be under construction, which will all be built in Goa. You're going to be the last ones to be deployed. Because you need that artillery because From our past experience, we were horribly outgunned. So we need to change that. I wish we could provide you more artillery, but we don't have time to drill or to build more regiments because this war will be very deadly. Also, in addition, there's going to be some deconstruction of some of the structures before the Great War can begin. You see all these inlands of the stock exchange that we built to increase local trade power? These need to be taken down. They're taking up space. Because we did this mission a long time ago, and we completed that anti-expand overseas thing and all that, but since we have more valuable trade nodes that we dominate, so this is unnecessary. So any areas that does not have coastal centers trade are to be taken down. So get rid of them. Make some room for more structures if needed, like barracks for increased national manpower. What we want to do that is to make room for soldiers' households, because these trade goods that has food or anything related like that and wine, building soldiers' household will cause a big manpower increase, depending on how developed the base manpower is. I know there's plenty of them in Serbia. Also, we're building a furnace that produces coal here in Kosovo, which will give us a lot more value since Kosovo gold is gone. If I had my druthers, I would build another build another fortress in the mountains of Herzegovina. So you could say, if there was one last place to fall back to, it would be Bosnia-Herzegovina. Worry about all this later. Alright, anything else? Any other places that I built that are not supposed to be there necessarily anymore? That is not in coastal centers of trade. I see a few. Get rid of them. I don't care if it lowers our trade power. We get our trade income from more valuable places. Ragusa isn't the most valuable. But if need be, in future, if you want to increase the production efficiency with the income, there's that. But we do make plenty of great income. So why worry? Hey. Good to see there's a lot of fish and wine, so that definitely helps if you were to build more soldiers' households. So that way we need a lot of increased manpower, hopefully to 300,000 strong after the end of this great war. So that way it'll be a lesson for Croatia that we can handle a world war of any kind. But this is a real test for us. A real test of our Croatian resolve. And all that and more. French got all that covered. Alright, let's begin. I expect, because of the numbers and how long this war may take, I think this might be the first war that we take part of. You know, it's not my war, but I think this is probably going to be the first war I'll ever see in any of my EU4 playthroughs that casualties could exceed up to 1 million total on both sides. So let's go. This is going to be a defensive phase for us. This is a Commonwealth's war. And here's the first major naval action. They sunk their first ship. There's 4 ships out there. These are just transports over in France. They're on their way. Yeah, everybody's on their way, except for the light ships that will remain at their posts, or to protect the trade around here, because I don't want to use them all, because it would siphon the sailors that we'd be using. And I can't make any more trade company investments. But thank you, Mamluks, for creating the Suez Canal so we can get there in a few months instead of a year or so. You'll save many lives and travel. Ansbach will be the first place to fall. Also, order all armies to have allies to be going with them, since this is a major conflict. Oh, no, not that one. This is a colonial army that will be stationed to guard the colonies from native attacks. For Croatian Africa. Sicilian 3rd Fleet blockaded the Gulf of Leon. New trade good. In Korea, it's got tropical wood. In Kikuyu, it's got livestock. We did engage the French. We took 1 transport off of them, which will be glad to take their hands off of them. So the way is clear. Oh, crud. Looks like Ansbach is the first country, despite the fact that of all the countries that is member of the HRE, but the reason it joined it's because it's in a personal union with Scandinavia. Which means they cannot be negotiated out of the war, fortunately. Sweden has joined. How many are they bringing? Well, you can read that here. The Swedish will be bringing 16,000 infantry with 6,000 cavalry and over 7,000 artillery. But it's not necessarily, you know, much of a contribution, but every little bit helps. You Scandinavian brothers gotta stick together. Guess the reason you joined is because the Commonwealth you were allied with. And you felt you were concerned and thought you want to join in on all this. So they'll be coming to assist the Commonwealth. And see what I tell you? I told you the first year is going to be a defensive phase. The Commonwealth needs to mobilize, get their act together, and try to drive them out. And if need be, wait for the Swedish Scandinavian forces to get down there and help them out. We'll be a little late on the participation, so it's probably going to be on the next year that we'll be sending forces over the Polish Bohemian regions. Even though it says region North Germany, but the area is Bohemia. We're just gonna get a steady flow of friendly reinforcements. While the Sicilian armies, the Serene Republic of Two Sicilies, will be getting themselves together. Also, fortresses are under construction to be improved upon, and in 2 years' time, they can definitely... Army Royale. There they are. These guys. A lot of infantry and artillery. If they go to Trevesto in the hills, we have the advantage to drive them out. But since we had long travel, it's going to take a while to, you know, reinforce everybody. Alright. Go. Pick up more. Go pick up this army. Don't know why we had the Cossacks way back there. First fleet's arrived. Also, get that transport out of there. Yeah, don't forget we gotta pick them up too. You're just going over there simply for the sake of it. Like when the transports come by and pick you up, you merge and then you go. So we should focus on the Italian front first. As clearly the first fortresses, the old castle, the first line of defense has fallen already. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen, the war started in May. So you know how long it's been. They're going for Verona. This has a star fort. Took the scenic route, huh? Gonna be deployed to the Italian front. What is this area called? I mean, we know the region is Italy, but this area? The front line is Emilia-Romagna and Venezia. Venezia. Even though Venice still exists, but it's only in Trentino. So, as we know, the first major action that happened in the Gulf of Aden, but over in the Bay of Fundy, new Croatian fleet took on a French-Canadian fleet and lost, obviously. More French troops located. Yeah, we're waiting for the other ships to come. But it looks like they've made it in good shape. Once you land in Tunis, then you two will be deployed to blockade the coasts there. Sicily has this handled over here. And New Croatia can do whatever they want. They didn't lose any ships as much as they withdrew. Wherever these ships went. Those sea islands. What fleet is that? French-Canadian. Intercolonial trade. Establishing colonial subjects overseas has allowed us to expand our trade while remaining in control, importing goods from lands that are essentially under Croatian control, excuse me. As long as we supply our colony of what they need, they have no reason to start putting gold in the hands of our enemies. Sadly, the settler sometimes needs different opinion from our great prince on what exactly they need They began to trade with the neighboring colonies and natives, circumventing trade barriers that we put up to protect our nation's interests. This clearly benefits them, where it benefits us is highly doubtful. What's your liberty desire? Well, we make most of our money through trade, and I don't want to lose that luxury if we lower mercantilism percentage. So I will say they are part of Croatia. Our interests are theirs. And if they don't like that, you take this to the papers. Development tariffs, administrative efficiency, dreams of liberty. So, we've only used one action. Support loyalists. In other words, don't make me try to... Well, I'll tell you what. When we get soldiers' households constructed and when we have more money, we may have to subsidize armies by either that or send officers. Okay, that's much better. This will make those colonials fight better, since they're going to be out on the expeditionary war throughout French Canada. It's a good idea in theory. Because, you know, these are our guys. These are our boys over there. But they're under independent command. And we never told them to come to Europe. It's because it's not a good idea. Either or I could decrease tariffs. Says... Oh, I never knew all these. Let me see. Ah. Okay. So again, it costs us 33% monthly of their army maintenance. And as far as army maintenance is concerned, I don't think that's going to be much of a real issue until later on. I'll get the notification if it says high liberty desire, I'll do something about it. So don't do something about that right now. Alright. They've been deployed. You had safe travels. The French have stomped themselves here. But we're waiting for him. Again, they're on their way down to go pick them up. We need to pick up these two. Yeah, it'll fit. What if we make two trips where we go pick up this one and then someone to go pick them up? And then we're going to travel a long way there and then into the Balkans. And then we'll deploy much faster. But obviously the 4th Army in Goa is going to have to wait a little longer till all the artillery's been deployed. Hang on, where is it? Yeah, I mean, yes, it exceeds the force limit that we have currently, but I don't think it's that really concerning to me now. Or do you need to increase your size of the infantry and the cavalry? Just like to see an increased strength of the Cossacks to 25,000 strong with some of that artillery there. in the meantime. See? Oh, don't forget there's this ongoing sea battle over there. Morale seems to be lowered. Deploy the fleet. Be heading up this way, and the 22 heavy ships be heading this way. And already there's a major battle going on in Olomouc. That's Olomouc, but in Polish language. And they're sending reinforcements this way. And 2 French armies are on their way. So it's going to take some real commitment to this. But we're waiting for him to arrive. He's the difference maker. He's the best that we got. I think it's pretty much textbook because the morale's not going their way, but we need to pay attention to this one. They're losing it here. Yeah, they lost this one. I believe that was the first major land battle. Commonwealth lost that one. 108,000. They just combined themselves. No cavalry, but a lot of infantry and artillery. Led by General Gaston de Rochemar, inspirational leader. 3, 2, 6, 1. He's got very high maneuverability, meaning this huge body of troops can move faster than any of us. So that means we need to be deployed en masse. They could take this fortification down easily. It's going to take a real team effort from all of us here. Not everybody's going to be coming here. They will be arriving into Mombasa soon, and they'll be sent to the Balkans, to the Italian front for now. Profiteering in Goa. The citizens of Goa have grown tired of the local influence of greedy Farsi merchants that they claim are using unfair advantages to outcompete local business. They demand that we step into the limited influence of foreign traders on the area and reaffirm the privileges of our own merchants and artisans. If we do not act, they might take matters in their own hands. We need that trade power. We must protect our trade. Augsburg has gone revolutionary. They may dominate that, but one day we will get that up. Even though we're currently building trade centers, but we're trying to increase the local goods produced, which in turn goes up the trade value, and we make more money out of that. So just 2 more armies that need to be picked up, while the Cossacks are having a bit of a increase, not necessarily a refit. Just encountered a French fleet out there. And more ships are on their way. These are just transport ships. They're all transport ships. What the hell are y'all worried about? Oh my god, more French. Hold here. Stay there. If Ferrara falls, let them come to Trevista. We can knock them off of their hills, but... where do they get all this manpower? Is that their entire army? No, that's half of their army. And where the hell are you guys going? Drawing them away sounds like a good idea. Alright. Deploy in Padova. This is going to take a real team effort to knock them off. Disregard that order. They're splitting away. I don't think we should catch them. They're too fast for us. We need to keep them divided. They all cannot stick together like that. Army morale might as well be the Grand Army. Sometimes I wish our Middle Eastern friends would intervene. Karaman Akonulu Mamluks. Or even Great Britain, I mean, to tip the balance of this huge conflict. God, Wawa. You're a bit behind schedule. Deployed to Venice, or Milici in Croatian. Has the other transport fleet arrived yet? No. Where is it? Oh dear God, is that them? Can't get there fast enough. They're going to Pisa. Ramadan Topia has corrupt connections. Is that one of our advisors? Yes. We try to keep our administration free of dishonest individuals, but we cannot always account for the friends and contacts which got them to where they are. Ramadan Topia has unfortunately turned out to be a good example of the problems that follow from this. Having been skilled and personable but somewhat gullible in his choice of associates. Recent investigations have revealed that much of our well-built trade network relies on bribes, smuggling, and other dubious activities to reach its current level of efficiency. Ramadan Dobia have known nothing of this, which is likely true. Nevertheless, if we decide to expose this, the responsibility will be his to take. God dang it, we can't afford no trade efficiency or trade crisis during the remainder of the war period. If it works, it works. So we're going to have a bit of corruption, which we're going to have to root that out. So that's going to cost more. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Split them up. We're willing to risk our lives over here. You too. Cover the Italian front. If the French attack, unless they're going to make advances towards Napoli, we must stop them. Unless the Sicilian army gets itself involved in combat. There's a peasant revolt going on in Genoa, so if they get engaged, this may slow them down. Now we're trying to lure them over here. It's very tempting. There is no river crossing between here and Verona. That's problematic. Even if we try to attack from there, we would take a river crossing penalty. Does it really matter? Well, one thing's for certain. If combat is coming, the Sicilians may bail out of us. Or not. Oh, hell. A lot of events happening back home. A merchant family from Verona to come to greatly expand our long-range trade with Vijayanagar by successfully establishing themselves in both Kalyana and the Vijayanagari hinterlands. They've come to be very influential in both our societies and very rich. This is a situation we could probably make use out of. Well, let me tell you something. A lot of men died fighting against them, and we established Indian trade companies there and all that. Aren't divinations an accepted culture? Yes. Skill 2, trade efficiency. How much money do we make out of Gujarat trade node? Plenty. It's one of the most valuable. I think we're fine with what we have, even though he did a bit of a screw up a bit. But we'll say, we should not ask what they can do for us. What is good for them is good for us. Influential trading family in Gujarat on trade node. So we'll be making a little more with that increased trade power. That's the leader. They got way more morale. Just a few more sea zones, and then they'll pick up this one, and then they'll pick up the Cossacks, and then they'll be on their way. Get together. Oh, hell. Bohemia is set to fall. The Commonwealth parts of Bohemia is set to fall. Swedish and Commonwealth forces have joined up. Scandinavians are putting pressure on this side of Brandenburg. Which, remember, Brandenburg is the HRE Emperor. And Commonwealth and Brandenburg were once allies. But since they attacked Nuremberg, which is effectively you are attacking the HRE. And why are the French involved? Because they're allied with them. That's why Cologne, Würzburg, and Lepp is also involved. Oldenburg is not involved. So not all states within the Holy Roman Empire are together. Or we'll put it on notice. Can the Sicilians defeat the French up there? If they can, it's a miracle in itself. And they did. Beat them in their own home turf. But I'm scared about taking them on unless we receive more reinforcements. I am not confident enough about this. Wait a minute, who's gonna get the... Never mind. Hey! There's a fleet out there in the Mediterranean. That's probably their main fleet. They're transporting. The Sicilians need to stop them. Return to the Mediterranean immediately. Because they're getting transport. Don't let them escape, and hopefully the Sicilians will take care of that. They're on their way. They're gonna engage. '15th, 18th. Battle begins on the 18th, so advantage French. The hills will be theirs. I don't know if this is going to be our chance to send them and take out the remaining French forces while there's going to be action at sea. While meanwhile actions to take place over there if they're willing to commit. But you've allowed the French fleet escadrille the Mediterranean. That is the Mediterranean fleet of the French, based on the name alone. That's why we're turning back. Meanwhile, more major land battles, such as one in Hradec, which is not a good place to be in right now, because they have the numerical superiority, giving us a bit of uncertainty. But there is an army on the way soon, so please be patient. Time for you to go. And then we'll be sending to Singapore, and then you two get picked up. And then we're gonna have a long travel back to the Balkans. And then after, when the transport fleet drops off there, and then we're gonna send one more into Goa until they complete their recruitment, I should say, of the Royal Mourners. They'll be deployed there. And then we'll begin a full participation of a full commitment into the Italian front. That's the front line we'll be covering. If any of them come down there, this may spell trouble for us. And then we may have to take the war to the hills and mountains should Zagreb fall. We will never surrender. Our colonial possessions are not in danger, nor is the areas where the companies are held. But I want you to deploy now. Surround them. Because they're heading this way, and this is our opportunity to kill them here while they're going to get busy. Sicily will be bringing 15 heavy ships with 17 galleys. The French have 12 heavy ships with 17 light ships and 19 transports. 3-2 is for their admiral. The Sicilian admiral's 4-2, so advantage Sicily. While we're trying to come in and assist them, if we can, but this gives them the opportunity to open up on their blockade. But in all honesty, this is their main fleet. A grand fleet, so to speak. So pay attention to this naval battle, because this may be important. Pompey is their flagship. Is Sicily bringing their flagship? No. It's a 3-decker. Wait a minute, you got no admiral right now? Oh no, they're still on their way. This is they're just being reinforced right now. They're all committed. They're gonna get busy over there now. We got them surrounded. Army of Est in Flanders. Andres. Yeah, we got them surrounded. We thought this was going to be defensive for us. No, this is defensive. We're taking advantage of this opportunity. After we will kill most of them, head back and wait for reinforcements. So already it's part of that bloody winter. But unfortunately, the French will have the advantage of the hills, but we'll use our superior numbers and good generalship to take them out. After all, they're giving us access. Is Genoa, longtime friend of ours. I don't know about you, but a lot of men are going to die up there. And as for you, over there, Armata de Salerno, you guys are going to be, you know, the ones to hold the line. Keep the army morale at bay while we will go kill these guys and then return to our original posts. So until they're in positions, move in. They cannot escape. Check this flagship's radar point to see these two. Armies deployed. So they were expecting transport on their way out. This is no time for you to be reinforcing them right now. It's a lost cause up there. Move in. They may be just sitting there and watching this naval battle, but they weren't aware that they're about to be ambushed by the 1st and 9th Army, 7th and 5th Army, and 6th Army of Croatia, most of which have returned from India. One more army for you to transport. This may take a little bit longer to wait. That's them. Last army to be deployed. Oh, they're still on their way to go pick up the Cossacks. But here's our opportunity to kill some of the Frenchmen. Revolutionary Army and Revolutionary Lance. There they are. It's pretty much textbook results. And yes, the Croatian fleet has joined the battle. Yeah, just hang on. So it's pretty much textbook now. It's like, so everybody got killed up there. And you guys are about to get killed up there too by them, by Army Morale. Well, we're gonna try to kill most of them here and get back to the original posts quickly. But yes, we took a river crossing and going up in the hills. But we have the most experienced general. The defensive plan of this is done for inspiration later. And more reinforcements are on their way. Remember, we do best in shock, as we learned from India. We don't have that river crossing advantage anymore. What the hell are you doing? Eight heavy ships sunk with 10, 7. We didn't capture any of those, so lost one transport. That's gotta be Sicilian. Well, we gained 3. So that was Sicily. Oh, goddamn. 2 Sicilies that gained these new ships. Okay, but get back to Tunis, and you too. So we prevented their escape. Well, Sicily prevented their escape. We just came in and picked up the scraps. Boy, now they're about to get themselves killed out there, but hey, see this as an opportunity for us to escape so we could get back to friendly lines in the defensible position. Come on, hurry. Battle will begin in a week there. And by then, we would finish Oh, a good portion of them off. And we only took nearly 10,000 losses here. Well done. Now let's get the hell out of here. But we have fresh reinforcements that's just arrived here. While hard fighting continues over in the Lusatia area, and Velika Polska area is about to experience hard fighting. Where are the Scandinavian troops, and will they commit is the real question. There they are. They are committed. So consider this. They are sacrificing themselves valiantly while we've mauled them just to show them that we're not afraid. And we've received more friendly reinforcements. Okay, hang on. Just making sure. To the Italian front, because I believe things are going to get bloody with the fight against Army Royale. So head to... Yes, all deployed now, and it's going to take a couple of months' travel. Otherwise, it would have been taken a year to get over there. So now we know where the main fleet is. And all that. But right now we're losing this war as far as war score is concerned because of territories occupied and not taking the relevant objective, which is Nuremberg. But over in Praga, there's your first major land battle that was won. And most of them are just defeats in land battle, but in Genova, which was the first Croatian victory of the land battles here, because we took advantage of the situation thanks to what happened in the Ligurian Sea. And also the Armata de Salerno are sacrificing themselves to cover our escape from Army Royale until we receive more reinforcements so that way we can stand toe-to-toe against them. But my real concern is, why aren't the British doing something about this? This is their chance to take Cornwall back. If I were them, I would fight against the French right now. Put more pressure into it. But if you're going to fight against the French, you're going to be dealing with Brandenburg and the HRE as well. Oh, it's doubtful right now because of the massive skill of this war. Which, it's been nearly a year now, and already it has reached 200,000 casualties total on both sides. We have the advantage at sea, but at land, things are getting bad. Well, meanwhile, the troops of New Croatia, Nova Hrvatska, are now taking it to French Canada, which is a pretty large area to be fighting against. French Louisiana is no longer revolutionary anymore. They're back to what they were. But however, the independence is supported by Great Britain. So apparently Britain is making a move against France. They're supporting the independence of French Louisiana. Yeah, it's nice, but Louisiana, really? What about French Canada? What's their liberty desire? In fact, check all the liberty desires to France. Louisiana's ready to break out, but so is Alaska, and so is French Canada. So they're ready, they just need some support. But they're not getting that support right now. Heck, I would support them. But unfortunately, we're at war with them right now, so that's not going to happen. Come on, boys, we're moving back. We're going back to our original positions, because army morale might as well be chasing us. Truce of Virginia are ended. Well, meanwhile, the army Armata de Salerno, salute to them as they're going to fight violently for their sacrifice in the face of the enemy, just to cover our retreat, our withdrawal back into the Croatian parts of Venetia. Those that survived, well, they're going to have to march back. So let's just hope that they sacrificed in vain. So all I could say is, Seri Doge Vincenzo Spinola, you are a zealot and a madman. That's all I gotta say about it. As they're part of the Italian Signoria. Odessa has citizenry with the morale of armies. That's one thing for certain. But until we are reinforced, which shouldn't take long, that we should be in a suitable position. Especially that we have fresh troops now. So we beat back most of the French forces, but their Grand Army, Army Royale, will be on their way, possibly towards Napoli. If they are, we will deploy everybody and kill them off there, because it's not their home turf. Redeploy the fleet. Seems they got this area covered, so in this case, cover the channel. And this other fleet here, discard transport. As the transport fleet's yet to arrive and go, you go to with them. Deploy immediately. Once covering the channel, you will cover the coast of Brittany. Sicily's got that coast covered, hopefully. Because if any attempt of them to escape, Third Fleet under Vincenzo de Bourbon will be taking care of that. Hopefully. We don't want two Sicilies knocked out of the war, otherwise pressure will be on us, on our participation. And that means pressure for the Commonwealth. As army morale marches, hard fighting reported here, which is not looking good. But reinforcements will be coming in soon, so this may prolong the battle and may turn on their way. Before further war reports, tariffs on naval supplies. The naval supplies production in one of our colonies has come to focus. It seems that it generates quite a lot of money, perhaps too much without being properly taxed. In the spirit of mercantilism, we should force them to trade their naval supplies through our ports instead. This will greatly benefit our merchants and add a lot of income to the Crown's coffers. You know, we make money through trade just fine, even though we're trying to root out corruption, but these need to be leveled up in the future. So better leave it be for once. And we've gained some military power. Excellent. as stated before, they're going to Goa. The other transport fleet carrying the Cossacks and another army from Kotak will be on their way. It's going to be a bit long, but once everybody's here, we'll be in a very good position to take on Army Royale. They'll replenish their losses quickly, I can tell you that right now. They do deploy here in Padova. Make a move a little. Make some room. But now they're turning back, so they're going to be regrouping. So this was Allied victory here. What do we call these two factions at this point? Well, it doesn't. I don't think it would. I mean, this would be Allied, and what does that make? Holy Roman Empire led by Brandenburg and a few states that also, and France. Are they unofficially the Central Powers? I mean, most of that's in the center. They don't have any friends in Italy. It's mostly just France and the HRE. And of course the minor fighting that takes place in North America, so I don't think it's going to be a world war as much as it's a great European war, with this as being a more of a sideshow, as I will not commit troops over there to help New Croatia, but they can knock themselves out in the sense of what goes on there. But soon they're going to be losing to the French. Well, it's French Canada that's doing all the work. And who is allied? What was it? Malsatan Wampanuan. Huh? Which one's that to be exact? Ah, there you are. You fought against them before. Sometimes you can't remember. But one of these days I would like to commit a war to expand New Croatia all the way through these states at the expense of the Spanish colonials and the French colonials, just to make them stronger and they'll be much more self-reliant. Of course, that means more liberty desire for them. Can't say I blame them. If army morale is going where I think they're going, if they're going to go to commit to this front, then that means our position is secure. And once all armies arrived, then we will deploy them properly. Some in Italy, and some over there in Bohemia. So for now, it's safe to say that I think they're scared of us. And now it's the first full year of this war, so let's read this quickly. $300,000 losses already. First full year of this war, and it's already reached 300,000 total. But Ansbach is pretty much out of the war, but they're trying to recruit a few. But of course that'll be at the expense of the others that are there. As we're waiting for friendly reinforcements to arrive, and then we'll take care of this very, very well. One thing's certain, we saved the army to Sicilies, and they've hired some companies, such as the Gascon Musket Company, so they're spending their money. And speaking of money spent, Yeah, there's going to be some action very soon. They need to retake this area, so you could kick the Brandenburgian fleet out, and then feed them to the Commonwealth, and then they'll send them. But it seems they commit most of their troops to the Danish front, and that's going to be problematic in the long run. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to spend that money with. These soldiers' households. Like if I were to build one in Braničevo, this is how much it can be. Like this building will increase the manpower by this much. So all these buildings it took down, making room for a soldier's household to increase the manpower reserves, which it'll take years, but it'll be worth the investment. And these will not be done until 5 years later. So this should be well after the war is over. With them on their way here. Okay, on their way here. Redeploy the forces. First Army stays here. You pull back to Dresden. Marko Tolovac will be going this way. He stays. But I think you're going to need a lot of cannons for the French front. We're thinking of a proper deployment for next year's plans. Because we may commit ourselves to, you know, the possible offensive next year. You know, in the Provence-Savoy front. The objective is to take control of not only the coast, but also these mountain fortifications here on the hills. So we must have the Savoy our high ground. And this would open the door to Paris. Once we take the fortifications and fend off Army Royale, then we'll have it. It's the only way to knock the French out of the war. They're the difference makers. But the Commonwealth, well, they're going to try to take this fortress down so they can get to Nuremberg, the objective of this whole war. So we're redeploying, so we'll deploy at least 3 armies to assist the Scandinavian and Commonwealth forces. The rest of the army stays in the Italian front. And the army of Goa, as we unofficially call them, is anyone's guess at this point, because the artillery is still being created and it's not going to be ready for war until next year, basically. There's a reason why we don't want to rush them right now. It's not only holding our positions, but we're waiting for friendly reinforcements and wait for their manpower to recover. They're taking care of them. Don't you worry. See? Easy. Should we need the Cossacks to help out for the French offensive, knowing that the French hardly have any cavalry? Yeah, the French hardly have any cavalry, since it's all infantry. And based on our cavalry combat abilities, we could definitely maul the French at the field. But in this case, Stepan Stipe. At the Krinska. Once you're all deployed, move on. You stay back at Travesto. We're not going to let you go to the front line just yet. Not until you're all fully reinforced. And this fleet stays right here. That's all we can transport. But we still have one more army, but it's not going to go anywhere till, say, you know, not a couple of months. Of course, the easiest thing in the world would be, oh, just build a few more of these cannons out here and then they'll meet up and all that. No. It's all that is necessarily deployed. And plus the transports ought to say so we don't siphon any more sailors when in use. Oh my god. Army morale has merged in. This is led by that same general. Jacques... I'm not sure because I don't have the best French pronunciation, but they are coming. All infantry, all artillery. They're gonna blast us to Kingdom Come. And the Cossacks aren't even ready yet. Never knew that part. You know, there's this policy, the Mining Act. Apart from a mining tax, of all specs of mining are handled by private enterprises. It's land, fire, leader. Meaning once you get a general, at least somebody be good at fire. And based on our Croatian experience in India, that fire was not our strong suit. No. We're very good at shock because of the cavalry combat ability. So, this is going to cost us some military power each month, but I need every advantage I can get. So we won't get much military power out of this. If I had one more set of ideas, I would probably go for offensive. Don't need the quantity. I think we can handle that. It's just all of this would be very good. But we don't have that luxury right now. Wish I could give them a little more influence and a little more loyalty, but if I was to give them something, what would it be? I got some free land. Actually, this might be a very good idea. But again, the absolutism you have isn't at the best right now, but it's about as good as it can get. But you know, army tradition sounds very good, but land leader shock, in addition with the policy I just put on, we can get very good generals. And plus, adding a little more influence, give them a little more influence, then you'll increase the cavalry combat ability, so our cavalry will fight better. It's very tempting, but the max absolutism keeps the revolution at bay. It slows them down at least. But might as well. There you go. Brandenburg is also coming. It's going to be problematic also. It depends on where the battle is going to be. Is it going to be at a place where they're at a disadvantage because of river crossing? They're crossing through here in Cremona. Remember, Brandenburg is the HRE Emperor. I told you, I said offensive move to there next year. This year in 1755 is another defensive phase for us. While they're going on the offensive again, but it's only a matter of time. It's almost 150,000 total. Well, that's what I think. Get me a new general. Think of a name. Well, a potential general, that sounds like a strong name. That's too similar to my name. Think. 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 Alexander Kaniski. I like the name Alexander. We know the exact meaning. So, he is crud. But he's got a lot of shock, which is plenty of that here. So, by default, Greg Goldberg guy is still the best. He'll be deployed in the Kosagami. But don't spend too much military power. Oh, we could change the policy. Switch to focus to military. Need more of that because we got a guy who's not of an accepted culture and we need that replaced. Because I need someone good. Because fort defense, well, it'll keep the French at bay in case we lose and we have to fall back and reinforce and then take them out again. Slow them down. But let's continue now. Guys were out protecting the trade node and we took them out. Guess they're trying to get back to the Mediterranean, but we are aware of their colonial possessions, but my issue that is, that's a waste of time. What good would that do? Am I looking? Or something like this. Either that or am I crazy? Not looking for mercenaries either. What I'm talking about is the company investments that said something about where is it? Marines for some. What do they mean by Marines? What do they mean by that? But here they come. But at least the peasants is gonna stall. Is gonna stall them. Fighting is to be expected up here. It's gonna get a river crossing. It's gonna fight in the hills. Should we commit? Battle is gonna take place in Bergamo. They're about to fight the peasants. But they're make one move, see if they back out. No, there you are not. But the morale is too low to make a difference. Just follow the path. We'll be there on the 6th. Battle begins on the 2nd. Don't tell me that movement's off. No, they're not. Stop, stop, stop. Stop for the love of God. Return to your positions. Get back. Stay here. Stay there. If any of you guys get left behind, this would complicate things. Hey! Get back! Besieging Bohemia now. Naval action out there. Southern Baltic Sea again. But it seems they're turning away some of the reinforcements knowing that their area is being besieged. They got this covered. We got this covered. Again, that'll slow them down. What's their next move? If they're thinking about fighting in Verona, well, the question is, will they commit? Will Brandenburg commit? Seems they're going to turn away because of what's going on up there. Verona's farmlands. If only we held our position on the hills, and then taking a river crossing would have been an advantage. But there is a river crossing towards Verona, so we have the advantage of this. But it'll be flat ground, and it's going to rely on all the manpower that's needed. But the remnants of Armata de Salerno, led by a different general this time, and the Gascon Musket Company was also with us. And again, our old hero is the defensive planner. He'll take less shock damage received during the course of this battle when they come over here. I don't know if I'm that confident. All I could say is I don't know. I don't know if they can hold it, but just in case, during the course of the battle, you three might come over here, make a fast transport, and then walk over there. We don't have the ability to force march for free, but we'll get up there eventually. But it'll probably likely to happen in post-war. Will they come? The question is, yes, they will. They're coming to Verona. The battle will start on the 22nd of August. Get ready for all armies to deploy. It's the only way we could stop them. You must hold the line. Move in, lock. Move in. For God's sakes, follow us. They'll take a river crossing penalty, but they're going to be bringing at their very best, and we will bring our very best. Elbe Army and Army von Ruppen. I think they're regrouping, and they may assist the French during the course of this battle. Commonwealth is not coming. Ansbach looks like they're coming down here to help us out. One day we'll free you from the clutches of the enemy. They've been kicked out again, and they're going after the Scandinavian fleet. Concurrently, in the Battle of Koding, Scandinavian reinforcements will be there, and they'll try to drive out, although they took a crossing, which would be a bit hard for them. This is going to be a battle that's going to be from August and going into September. Still in the defensive phase of the Italian front, while hard battles are also reported throughout there. While the Commonwealth are making gains. A lot of men are going to die in this battle upcoming. We haven't fully reinforced everybody, not even the Cossacks. Which, when they come in, they'll be the difference makers. One of the more drilled armies of our time. Well, meanwhile, at the same time, don't mind them. Meanwhile, in North America, new Croatian troops will be continuing on their offensive against French Canada on the fringes of the Canadian land. And they got plenty of manpower, which they're ready to go. Now we're about to experience the latest of battles here. And Gregor Blagai better be the biggest damned hero is. So again, 4 fire, 3 shock. And as for Jacques, he is 3 fire, 4 shock. But however, Gregor is the defensive planner. Takes less shock damage received. Jacques here has no leadership traits, so he's experienced combat, but he's yet to pick up a leadership trait. But with the army of 2 Sicilies that is becoming us, Amata de Salerno, eager for revenge, will be coming with us. He's got 5 shock. If he's the overall general leader of this battle, that will be very advantageous. What is your ideas? We need to get notice. So, you have offensive and quantity ideas. You have the morale of armies as part of the Sicilian tradition. You're more naval intensive, including with our morale armies. And since you got full offensive ideas, that means you have discipline. And since you got full quantity, that means you have a lot more land force limits, so they could throw out a lot of troops at them. So glad they rebuilt themselves. Mostly hiring mercenaries. Anyhow. Yeah, the battle will begin on the 22nd. We'll be there in the 25th. Well, 7th Army will be there on the 24th, so we will definitely save them from annihilation. Reinforcements from the Cossacks in the 1st Army will be here a little later. Even though these are the more elite troops. As far as we're concerned, but we're doing what we can to get an advantage at them. So here we go. Bloody August into September. Battle of Verona. These fertile farmlands are going to see some really, really bad things going on here. Why have I not improved this area? It's a good question. I'll throw a little money into that, simply for the sake of it. There we go. They took a river crossing. Neither of us had the advantage of the dice roll. But we have the fire. So again, our discipline is slightly even. They have a higher morale than we do, but they don't got the prestige right now. Elon, military drill. Oh. God, Maria Vitko. I think that's the advisor of theirs. Is that correct? I would say yes. They have an advisor that adds more discipline to them. Tactics slightly even. We're defenders of faith, citizenry, military drill, power projection, army tradition. Steve, what's your army tradition? Slightly even, but a little more to us. But reinforcements will be arriving soon, so hold the line. Still not enough, but more will be on their way, and we should have them tip the balance. Elba army is coming here. And morale's going to play a factor here. They're in Verona now. That's all the reinforcements we sent for now. Send them out quickly. We're taking less casualties under shock. Yes, under shock we receive less. Get in there! Get in there! I'm saying that furiously, knowing this is a hectic situation we're on. They're really committing all their troops here. The Commonwealth heard what's going on out there, but... my goodness. But under fire, under the fire phase, we took more casualties. They're mauling us with their guns. They have no cavalry, but instead of mauling us. But more reinforcements on their way. Brandenburgian troops are coming. We'll be there on the 8th. Are they really coming to Verona? They withdrew. It's too much for them. They had to get out of there because they know it's a lost cause. My goodness. It was all infantry too, but it's just they know they were outnumbered. Will Brandenburg stop? They're not stopping. Hold the line here. My goodness, my goodness. Well, more to the slaughter. I can say, hey, we don't need your help, guys. Thank you, because we can handle it from here. Get back to your original post. We'll kill all the Elba army here. Very easily. There's a massacre. God, I don't even remember who's... yeah, Marko Tolovats, he was one of them. Go back this way. Stepan Frigoban, you were also there too. You go back there. You need to fully reinforce. You stay back here. You're going back there. So are you. Yeah, that's it. We didn't give them the full beating as we had originally hoped. But it was a huge battle by those numbers involved. It could have been larger, but they struck their last nerve, so they had to pull back. They could have commit, but I feared that our morale cannot beat the French morale, no matter how many army units you throw at. And you got 85 days, and then the army from Goa will finally be deployed to Europe. And I think I have an idea of how many armies that we should send on the offensive for next year's spring offensive to Provence and Savoy, to relieve the pressure of the Commonwealth and Scandinavia, which this area is about to fall, which could make Shetland in total danger. So we don't want Scandinavia out of the war. But we sure gave them a beating. Alright. So again, we thank you that you are concerned about our position in the military, but we're going to try our damnedest to try to reinforce everybody. Because 11,000 will be used by armies this month. Of course, the Timurids are at it again. But we know that for habit we're going to call it Army Royale. Grand Army. Grande Army. They're still out there. Hey, take it easy with the deployment. We understand you want to latch with us to Sicilies, but gosh dang it, do you really need that many out here? Because the supply limit isn't big enough for all of us here. They will soon take the objective of this capital, but you need to knock out the bigger powers, such as Holy Roman Empire led by Brandenburg and France is the only surefire way of victory. This fortification has fallen, so that's... Now they're going to redeploy down here. So, there's an ongoing offensive up here while we remain on a defensive for the remainder of this year. And spring offensive shall begin soon. Oh, here they come again. Are they that mad? They must be mad. They are mad. Cossacks are fully reinforced. Little Ansbach is with us. You want to get a bit of revenge? Armies of two Sicilies, such as some mercenaries, companies, Armata de Salona and de Molise, with us as well. Jacques has no idea what he's about to get himself into again. So that's why we have to take the war to them next year. Especially here in Savoy itself. Savoy. Take the castle. Hold the castle, and then we have the height advantage of the part of the French Alps and into Provence, and destroy their fleet. It's the only surefire way. We got 30 days until army in Goa will be deployed to Europe. We got one more bloody battle coming up. These guys have no idea what they got themselves into. It'll begin here on the 16th. We will commit again. Brandenburg will not be coming, so no need to urge on reinforcements, but just in case. And I remember your names. Stipe and Marco. Remember your names. And Gregor, once again, that guy can't catch a break. He thought his time in India was maddening to him. But now the French. Very, very tenacious. And we do not see any more enemy reinforcements becoming this way, because they're going to commit on fighting against the Commonwealth to start a counteroffensive. It doesn't matter what they're called, but we're calling them Army Royale still, because that's who they are originally before they merged in with the name change and all. Brandenburg's out there. Army von Ruppen, and they've hired the Frisian Free Company. Crud. They've committed. Let's go. To Verona. And for God's sakes, come with us. Battle begins 16th. We'll be there on... some armies, Armata de Salona, will be coming with us. They're the only ones for now. They're going to remain in their position till further notice. You'll be there on the 23rd, and I'll be there a little late. While deploying 2 armies, as in just in case, if this escalates again. Soon they will take the objective of this war, and the pressure will be on them. The Palatinate. Rebels. Noble rebels they're dealing with right now. So it's a good thing that they have not escalated that conflict. Winter hasn't come down here yet, but now these bloody farmers are going to see a horrific battle once again. We're holding the line here. They got lower morale. But will the Brandenburgian troops commit? No, 2 Sicilies will. So we have the advantage in numbers now. No need to deploy this. Other than this bloody carnage. They withdrew. Couldn't break through. You are the rock that keeps the Croatian army together. You fall back to reinforce. I'll take over. Is this other army? You go down to Ferrara. False alarm. Free Ansbach, please. It's under a personal union of Scandinavia. So, Gregor needs his army to rest. Wait, hang on. No, we don't have a device that adds more reinforcement speed. That would be nice. But we still have the manpower to have what it takes. Oh crud, I forgot about Goa. They're finished, they're ready. You're going to the Italian front. You will have to catch up because we will begin the spring offensive. In other words, move in February, and if the situation gets really nasty up there, we'll deploy these 3 armies into Central Europe, into here, because the Commonwealth are doing well down here. Bohemia is out of the war. East Bavaria will be pillaged by Commonwealth, forced to give the Commonwealth 10% of their income each month for war reparations. We get 71 ducats out of this amount. So Bohemia is out of the war, which had 24,000 at the ready. But now with Vogas, the Palatinate, back out of this war, That's another question that will soon be answered in the next episode. So we will close this episode on the beginning of January of 1756, which we will go on the offensive towards the French territories. Although we might be leaving ourselves in the open, but this will drive them into this way. Savoy is to be the main objective. Whoever is the siege master, basically, is going to Savoy. So that was part 1 of the Great European War, which has already been a very deadly conflict. While Southern Baltic Sea, again, seeing combat out there. They have the manpower, they could keep the war going. So can the French. And so does Brandenburg to a degree. Bohemia is already out. But for now, this is what the casualties looks like. Total on both sides. Although with Bohemia out, so it may look varied right now, but we have to assume, based on Bohemian losses, if we count them as well, now that they're out of the war. So statistics changed. So I think we reached about 500,000 casualties already in this war. 500,000 casualties. And it's only going to get more deadlier in the next episode. But why is this happening in this time period and all that? Why is this war so damn deadly? Well, let me tell you. It's modern war. That's how it was being fought back then. Muskets are a commonplace. Cannons. Devastating cavalry. Large armies pitting against much larger armies. It's just shows how much sacrifice we're willing to throw our lives out there. 6th Army is supposed to be we're supposed to have 10,000 cavalry, but we lost a lot of cavalry in this one because of the French infantry that just keeps blasting us. But this time we're going on the offense. Target Savoy. Leon. Savoy Provence offensive will begin in the next episode. But until then, so long for now.